Good morning, everybody. Today, we are going to learn about one of the main processes of the water cycle, which is evaporation. Evaporation is when a liquid water will turn into gas form. And that is really important to the water cycle because it allows the water to then rise up in the form of a gas. And then when it cools down in the clouds, it then allows water to rain. So we end up with fresh water. Those clouds also move over the environment to help spread water out. There's a few things I want to point out about evaporation and kind of tie it into what you have seen in your life. So, a few things about evaporation. First, it has a lot to do with humidity. If you've ever been outside on a really humid day, it feels sticky. You feel wet, and that has a lot to do with the fact that the water is in the air. And I want to show you why that happens, specifically on hot days. On cold days, you very rarely feel humid. And here's the reason. We're going to do a real nostalgic throwback. This is a particle model like we made in September. When things get cold, their particles get much closer. And if they continue to get cold like this, they would form a liquid by touching, and then they would form solids. So the colder things are, the closer they are together. When it's cold outside, the particles are really close together, which means there is not a lot of room for water molecules within it. So if you see these little blue Mickey Mouses, those are representing water molecules. When it's cold outside, the air is so close together that it doesn't allow a lot of water molecules to get in. Also, when it's cold outside, there's a lot less heat from the sun to evaporate water from the ground. So that's also part of it. On the other hand, on a really humid day, it's hot. The circles represent regular air particles. On a hot day, it allows it to be much more humid out. Since the particles are spaced out, it allows more room for those water molecules to get in. Also, the heat from the sun will cause more evaporation to happen because to turn a liquid into a gas, you need heat. So, these water molecules, there's a lot more room for them on a hot day, which is why when it's hot, it will often feel humid. And if you add a lot of water to the equation, then it'll be a really humid day. Like if it's 90 degrees and it rained like an hour ago, a lot of that water molecules have risen into the air as a gas, and there's plenty of room for it to stay there. A lot of people think when a water molecule evaporates, it goes into the air and then it comes back down. But the average water molecule actually spends about 10 days in gas form. So it might hang out around with you for quite some time. Another thing I wanted to point out, not only do we get a lot of our water from the ocean and from lakes and from water evaporating around us, we get about 10% of all clean drinking water from the leaves of plants. Something I want you to do today is this exact very, very quick demonstration. It's a lot like the one we did on Monday, but even simpler. When water evaporates out of plants' leaves, it's called transpiration. And this is just showing that. About 30 minutes ago, I took a plastic bag, I placed it over the legume from a couple of weeks ago, and you can see in just 30 minutes that there's a lot of water droplets forming inside the bag, and that is actually water releasing out of the plant. Since I'm only allowed to film for 5 minutes on these, I have one demonstration I want to show you. Click subscribe, click like, talk in the comment section, and most importantly, come back for video number 222.